Hey guys, welcome back. In this tutorial today, we're going to create hitboxes. This is a two-parter, so at the end of this tutorial, you should have this. And when it goes yellow, the attack is active, and well, the attack starts at yellow, and it's active when it turns red, and then it disappears. And I'm going to show you how to create this. Now, before we even begin and show you how complicated this may seem, but it's unavoidable, right, let's get into the code. So the first thing you want to do is go to your C++ file. You'll notice that I've got a hitbox actor here. So to get that, just click on generic fighter game character and then click on add import and click new C++ file. Then select actor, press next. I suggest you name yours hitbox actor like I have, and then press create class. Once you've done that, we can open up Visual Studio, and you'll notice we've got hitboxactor.h and hitboxactor.cpp. Make sure you got both files, as well as generic fighter game character cpp and generic fighter game character h. We're not going to work in the generic fighter game character.h or generic fighter game character.cpp. We're only going to work in the hitboxactor.h and the hitbox actor.cpp. So let's start off with the hitboxactor.cpp. A lot of this code is already generated, but what is not generated is this. So if you can just add that quickly, and I'll explain what it does. So this is a uenum, and essentially you're creating the three different types of hitboxes. We got the proximity when we an attack is started, then we got the strike when an attack is active, and then we got the hurtbox if the attack connects. So that's essentially the logic we're creating here. And then once you've done that, you can scroll down all the way to public, and two of these things we probably won't be using, but we will be using in the next tutorial. So just copy all 4 bits of code here. The first thing is to notify the hitbox actor BP, which we haven't created yet. Well, I have, but you haven't. We have to notify the hitbox actor blueprint class instance that the hitbox is ready to be drawn. Once it's ready to be drawn, the next function is to draw the hitbox to the screen to visualize it, and that's the yellow and red thing you saw. And we can use this in debugging, which we will be doing, but you can also set this up in your game later on in practice mode, as a practice mode, so your people who enjoy your game can try and get better and understand more about your hitboxes so they can be better gamers. Then we've got our hitbox enum instance, and there we're just creating a U property, a universal property, where we can basically we're creating something that we can edit in blueprints, where we say edit anywhere, blueprint, read write, category, hitbox. So we're creating a blueprint called hitbox, and essentially it's a hitbox enum. And so if you type, now we can know what the hitbox type is. So we'll be able to find the hitbox type. And then separately to that, we've got the location to spawn the hitbox, and there's the hitbox location. And we're going to be connecting it to the player. Now, once you've done this, the next is the hitboxactor.cpp. Not a lot here. Only thing you need to add is all of this code. Don't miss anything. And this is where we just notify the hitboxactor.bp class instance that the hitbox is ready to be drawn. Just almost like a reset to make sure everything is okay. We can draw it. Action is complete. We can draw it, kind of thing. All right. So once you've done this, you need to make sure it works fine. So we're going to click Rebuild Solution. By the way, save before you rebuild. Everything might crash, and it's honestly I had to redo this now. It took an extra hour just to get this done again. Nightmare. And if it's working correctly, it'll take a little while to load. And you'll get this link. This file is a link, and the other file is this. These files aren't things we're working in, but no issues found is the big thing, which is very important. And we can click output, rebuilt all, 0 succeeded, 1 failed, 1 skipped. However, let's just quickly save all, save all. And let's click compile over here, compile complete, which means it was successful. Thank goodness. Now we can press play, and we can just double check to make sure it's working. Now, if you've noticed, the hitbox has been removed, and that's because we got error reports. Alright, so I discovered the problem. So in short, I think it was just the order in which the code was being rendered. So once you've built this originally, then and then you set this up and you compiled it, and then you try and rebuild your code, it will give you those errors. So what I did is I built it in here, then I clicked rebuild, and then I clicked clean. Well, let me show you. That's going to crash again, and I'll show you how to fix it. So I'm going to click rebuild, and this should break the code again because of the order in which it's reading the code. So if you run into this issue, you won't run into it anymore, so that's good news. It will take a little while to load. It's processing relatively fast. There we go, 2 errors. It's because of the order in which it's reading the code. So to fix this, you click build, clean solution. There we go, 1 succeeded, 0 failed. Now we go yeah, and if we go yeah and we just press compile, it's going to say it's successful. But it's not successful, and I'll show you why. Sorry, I'm just waiting for this to load so I can show you. There we go, compile completed, which means it was successful. So now if we press play, game starts. So if we punch, we don't see anything. Oh, we do. Okay, it's working this time. But if you didn't see anything, all you need to do is go to your YBot anim BP, go over here, hover over this, alt click, disconnect it, reconnect it in, just so that you can recompile it, and then you can press play, and then all of a sudden you should see the punches, which is great. Obviously it's not perfect, but like I said, this is a 2-parter, so everything is working great again. Right, so we've gone over the code that you need to type. Everything that I showed you was 100% accurate. I didn't change anything to it, so hopefully you've typed it out successfully now, and we can move on to, in fact, the bulk of this tutorial. Like I said, this is a long one. Right, so we've created the C++ file called generic fighter game, and we'll be referring to this now in various parts. So we're going to click on content, and we need to right click, and we're going to click on, so over here we've got a hitbox actor BP, right? So we're going to right click, blueprints, and you don't want to choose actor over here because it won't work. You need to type over here hitbox, and then you must select hitbox actor, not hitbox actor BP. Only reason why we see that is because it's here. You must select hitbox actor, not hitbox actor BP. You must select hitbox actor. You shouldn't see this at this point. You should only see hitbox actor, and then you can, after you click that, you can select and create it, and then you can name the file hitbox actor BP for blueprint. And once you've done that, first thing you want to do once you're inside of here, you want to click add component, and you're going to add a cube. Once you've added a cube, you're going to rename it hitbox display. Once you've renamed it hitbox display, you can match my dimensions 0.6, 0.2, and 0.2. So it looks like this. And then the other thing you want to do is scroll down and make sure that the collision preset is on no collision, no, and this is unticked. And once you're done with all of that, you can compile, and then we can go to the event graph. And this is the most important event graph because this determines the color. So before we even build this out, we actually need to go back here and create a folder called art. Inside of art, create a folder called materials. Inside of that, create a folder called hitboxes. And we've got 3 hitboxes. Now I'm going to show you how to create these. The one is called m_hurtbox, m_proximity hitbox, m_strike hitbox. To create these hitboxes, we're going to right click. We're going to look for materials and textures, and we're just going to select materials. So we click materials, you name it one of these things. Just delete that. Delete. And let's say you name your first box m.hitbox. You double click on here, and to get the color here, you just right click and then you type in vector p, so vector parameter, and then you connect this into that. And to get the color showing, so it's not black, you just make sure that this side is lifted up, and you move this to like the green, for example, and then you just say apply, and we are done. As simple as that. So we can minus that, and you need to do this for all three of these right now. M hurtbox, M underscore proximity hitbox, M underscore strike hitbox. Match the naming conventions, just create these with the three colors. Reddish orange, yellow, and green. Choose your own colors if you like. And the one that we won't see in this tutorial is the green, because we're not hitting anything, but you are seeing yellow and orange. Right, now that we've done that, the next thing we want to do is create a custom hitbox event. And the way to do that, just to confirm, to make sure you didn't mess this up, sorry, I right click. So when you clicked right click here, you clicked blueprints and you click down here. You never chose actor. I'm just making sure you didn't choose actor here. And then you typed in hitbox. Yeah, I went over this. Crucial. If you don't do that, if you use actor, it's not going to work. So I'm just giving you a heads up. Cool. Right, so now we can create a custom event. So you right click, you say, so this is called spawn hitbox. So I'm going to say custom. So we're going to say add custom event. And you're going to rename it spawn hitbox. Delete that. And you're going to connect spawn hitbox to switch on E hitbox. Now if your code Now if your code worked, Control Z. Now if your code worked, you should be able to find this. The other thing, if you did this correctly and you never just used a normal actor, when you pull this out here and you type in hitbox type, you will get this. It will appear and it won't have any blue part. If you have a blue part in your hitbox type, you did the wrong thing. You created the wrong type of blueprint. So just giving you a heads up. All right, so then we're going to do this. So we obviously, you'll notice that the switch on E hitbox enum is a reference to the code that we did. E hitbox enum. And the E hitbox enum has 3 bits of code. It's got proximity, strike, and hurtbox. And proximity, strike, and hurtbox. So proximity is what we're going to use when we start an attack. And we're going to use the proximity material. And the proximity material is art, materials, hitboxes. It's over here. It's yellow. Let's go back here. So you're going to just, and obviously to do this, you just click set material, set material. And if you do this right, you can say set material hitbox display. So just save some time. Control Z. And the hitbox display, if you're wondering what this is, if you don't see it, I'll show you how to get it now. You want to go back to your viewport, and when you downloaded this, you save this as hitbox display, so you should see it. And basically, you can just copy this 3 times, and the only thing you're changing each time is the material. So then we've got the proximity material, the strike material for when your attack is active, and then we've got the hurtbox material for when it connects. And we just connect the various ones into that, and they all get connected into the set world location, where we've got our hitbox display, which obviously is this, and we've got our hitbox location, and our hitbox location is based on where we're punching, because we set it up quite carefully for that. And yeah, and we'll get more into how to adjust location just now. And then finally, we connect this to make sure it's visible to the world. Make sure that the hitbox display, this target, is visibility is turned on, new visibility for the time being. Once you've done this and you've compiled it and no errors have happened, you can move on to the next part, which is probably the longer part. So we're going to go back here. All right, now we're going to go to ybot anim bp. So last time we created all of this, and now today we're going to create all of this. I broke it up into 3 chunks. So last time we had anim notify attack end, and we said was first attack used anim, and it ended here. We're going to add a whole bunch of more stuff today, but we're going to start over here. We're going to start with the setting up proximity. Currently we don't have an anim notify attack start. So what we want to do is go over here to your punch 3. In this case, this is the punch we're using, and you want to create attack start an attack active. And obviously, if you remember to create this, you hover over line 1 and you're going to right click, add notify, new notify, and you just name it attack start and attack active. And the rule behind this is you want your attack to start when you can see an attack is about to begin. And for me, this looks like, okay, this guy's about to do something, probably throw a punch. Like when you can see he's moving out of the default position, and for me that's enough movement. And that's when the proximity box appears, and then proximity box is here, and then as soon as it reaches here, this is where you can see forces being applied forward, this is where the force is being applied, and that's where we say the attack is active, and this is where it changes color. So it's no longer, to see what I mean by changing color, we can press play, and if you punch, you can see it goes red color. So that's essentially what we're doing here. So you're going to create an attack. Every attack you have needs attack start, attack active, and attack ended. And you can use these 3 variables on most of your attacks anyways. So, and for the time being, just do the 1 punch. And obviously attack ended is also important, because at attack ended, you'll see what we do. So we're going to create animation nodes, blueprints, based on these 3 states within this attack. And yeah, let's get into it. So the first one is the attack start. So when the attack starts, we want to connect this to a spawn actor, hitbox actor, BP. And if we just connect this here, I believe this is spawn actor from class, spawn actor from class, and then you choose the class. And the class you want here is hitbox actor BP, hitbox actor BP. Okay, I'm Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. So now you know how to find that. The player transform is a new variable you create. So you're going to go over here, add a variable, call it player transform, and then change it to transform. And we'll use this to connect your, when the attack starts, the hitbox starts immediately, and we immediately set the proximity hitbox. And for this, once again, you just go over here and you type in set hitbox. So, for example, we can choose, let's test set hitbox, there we go. And you can choose which one you want. In this case, we're using proximity. And you want to make sure you've connected this as well. And then we're going to connect the proximity to its location, set location. Once again, you just go over here, set location. Sorry. I'm going to type in set hitbox location. And we will just connect this variable in here. Control Z, Control Z. And what this variable does here is that we are breaking the transform so we can move the location of the hitbox. And if you're wondering what the hitbox is, if you forgot already, hitbox actor, view, this is the hitbox, right? So to move where that is in accordance with this human or humanoid, we basically break the transform so that we can move the location, and we can break the vectors from X, Y, and Z, and then we can adjust this accordingly so that the location is, you know, if you're doing a punch, it's by the fist, if that makes sense. And then we connect this to the spawn hitbox. And that's when the hitbox appears. I believe the first hit in yellow. And then we connect this to an add. Let me show you what this is. This is an add array. Add array. And you just connect your proximity hitbox. Now, obviously, you don't have an add an array. You don't have a proximity hitbox, and this is important. These aren't normal arrays. So you go over here and you create a variable. Once you've created a variable, let me just show you. Once you've created a variable, let me just actually create one quickly. Oh, it's too easy. Hold on. It's just copying the last. Well, let me just create a variable, change this to Boolean. And yeah, at the moment everything is set to array. Yeah, we can just click over here and change that to solid. There we go. So you'd probably have something like that. To change that to the correct type of an array for this to work. If you use a normal array, it won't work. You have to use a special array. So you'd first click on you'd select your variable, you'll click over here, and you would change it to an array. Then over here in the drop down, you want to type in hitbox actor BP object reference, and that's where it would be correct. But I'm just going to delete that because we don't need it. And that's how we created both of these. They both are object references for the hitbox actor BP. So, and that is crucial. If you don't do that, it's going to break, it won't work. So once we've done that, that's setting up the proximity of the hitbox. Next thing we want to do is remove the proximity of the hitbox and replace, I should probably rename this. Yeah, it's quite a lot we're covering today. Replace it with the active hitbox, because we are going into the anim notify attack active. And once again, most of this is just copy and paste, so you can just copy and paste this. And the only thing we're really changing is we're adding something here. So over here we got spawn hitbox. Over here, after spawn hitbox, we have for each loop, and then we destroy the actor. So basically we're destroying the proximity hitbox over here, and then we're creating a clear array. And to create a clear array, just go over here, you type in clear array, and there it is. And you can connect it here so that the hitboxes don't just stay in space. And then finally we can connect it to an add array. As you know, you just do this, add array, and you'll have that. And we're going to use the active hitbox. This active hitbox needs to be connected to the hitbox actor BP, and it needs to be set to an array, or else it won't work. Once you've done that, we can finally end the attack notification and remove all hitboxes so that there aren't any hitboxes that pop up or just stay in the scene, so that RAM isn't killed and things are working correctly. This is just a safe way to debug. So we've got anim notify attack end, and as you know, the attack ends over here when our fist pulls back in this example, where there should be no more impact or damage that can be happened from the attack, which I think is when your hands moving back like that, we're done. Which is fair enough. And let's quickly go back to the whiteboard anim BP. So we're saying first attack used anim for the animation is set. Then for each loop, the proximity hitbox, we destroy that actor. And you don't want to just destroy the actor. You want to make sure after destroying the actor, you clear destroying the actor so that there's no bug. That's why we're actually doing that. Because when you destroy actor, you always want to have a clear array to make sure that the destroy actor doesn't destroy other stuff, so that the code isn't broken. So once you've done that, we also want to say completed and connect this to for each loop, active hitboxes, destroy actor, clear. So this is just really making sure that the code remains crystal clear and you don't have any issues. And yeah, it's as simple as that. So now we have covered how to create the artwork. We've covered the hitbox actor BP. We've coded the hitbox actor, and we've also gone into the whiteboard anim BP, and we added a whole bunch of new code for the hitbox to make sure that it works with the animations. And we also, where is it now? Hitbox actor BP. We also created a hitbox display using a box, set the dimensions here, and made sure it's on no collision. And essentially this should be your final result. If you didn't get this final result, please let me know, because then there's obviously something wrong. But this is a step in the right direction. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.